Okay, welcome everybody to the stream. We're back. We are on podcast episode 15. We are here to talk about the Acolyte episode 5. I'm here with my co-host Spartan.
Hello.
And we're here to kick off another fun discussion about the Acolyte. We'll get off the music now. Okay, so
I hate you. God.
why do you hate me? What did I do?
The name of the podcast.
Oh, a Smiler red face reveal? Yeah, I like it.
Oh, red. I love it.
Some of the people I listen to, they named him Smilo Red. I'm like, well, I guess I can understand because it looks like he's smiling, he's wearing a mask, he has the voice like Kylo Ren.
Oh my god, I love that name.
Oh, Jesus, it's bad.
Okay, go ahead with this.
Okay, so pretty much this episode, is the big fight. This is the monumental thing that they were saying, hey, this fight's gonna completely, like, outdo any kind of prequel fight, guys. Like, this is gonna be awesome. And okay, I'll say this. To be nice, I think this is the best lightsaber fight we've gotten from Disney Star Wars.
I'll admit that.
I'll admit that.
Folks, last week we had some eager comments about this. Personally, this episode, God, it started out a little rough, but God, it holds like a good 180 for me. Like, I'm loving it. There's some weird things still with this episode. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like crazy for it now, but this is nice.
I will say that this is probably the best episode from the Acolyte so far.
Oh, for sure.
That's
For
that's
sure.
definitely all I could say right now. I
things I won't go over, like what I don't like. But
okay.
This is great. This is so amazing.
Go for it.
Okay, so the first thing, and I think it's what kind of catches me the most. They did the thing I called it out last week with the titling, you know.
Yes.
Episode 4 was day. This one's episode 5, night. So they still did the part 1, part 2. You know, like one sister to the other.
Yes.
But they separated it over 2 episodes. And so I'm really curious if they'll actually do that with the Destiny episode from episode 3, when we learned about the cult story.
Yeah.
You know? If
Yeah.
they'll do that with the Jedi perspective and it be like fate, you know, Destiny versus fate, day versus night, revenge versus justice, lost versus found.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Destiny versus duty. Maybe that's it. Destiny versus duty. That almost sounds more appropriate.
That kind of does.
But anyway, so I think my biggest gripe with this episode is just kind of the placement of everybody. Because we start out, and you know, Osha's waking up, which I kind of like. I kind of loved it, even though I feel like we should have been like quicker to the action. Because for a second there, it was like we were going to live this episode like it already happened, you know?
Yes.
Like, I thought we were gonna live this fight like it already happened, and we are Osha trying to put the pieces of with what happened. So I was actually super excited that, you know, of course we start off the episode, and she's like, what? And she just sees the fighting happening, which, God, it was so clean. Dude,
Define clean. Spark? Oh, I lost Spark. Spartan, if you can hear me, your audio cut out. Okay, so I'm gonna continue while he's trying to get that figured out.
Okay, what?
Oh, yeah, you're back. Yeah, you're back.
His other died, so...
Oh, okay, so I was just like, I heard it go, yeah! I'm like, Smart.
Anyway, heard a lot of different reactions about this. I gotta say, dude, I love the fighting style. The fighting style of this dude, of Khmer, or Smilo Ren, as you were calling it. God, I love and hate that name so much.
It's okay. We all know it's pretty much what it is. It's Smilo Ren.
It's amazing. I love the name. But yeah, no. His fighting style so clean. Like, it's so good. And folks, last week, you know, I'll own up to it. I was like, God, I don't want it to be Khmer, and I'm still like a little on the fence about it, you know. But at the same time, this was executed so well. Like, I love this. Like, the rest of the series, I'm just kind of like, I don't like him. I don't want him. This video was very, very clean. You know, his introduction, like, I actually felt afraid of him as a person, even though we've already met him. And I'm just struggling to find the words here, but like, they just did that so well. You know?
Yes.
So I'll go back. The fighting style is so great, you know. And we got to see a lot of brutality from him. Like, that, it was just clean. Like, I'm so glad we actually saw murder in this episode. We'll get to that later. That was great. But with the fighting, or with, like, the opening, I still think placement was really weird. Because immediately, you have all of the red shirts, essentially, fighting. But some reason, Soul, Jackie, and Yord were not even in that fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was points literally in the fight that I'm just like, where are these guys? It's like literally, the best way for me to explain it, it's like literally they were on like a little set, and the guy was like, "Hey, Yord, jump in there now, because it felt very like weird where they were coming from. Like, they just came out of nowhere, or they just disappear for some weird reason, and then you're like, what happened to them? And then they jump back in somehow. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I think the problem, like, the fight, don't get me wrong, I think it's one of the best Disney lightsaber fights, but the problem with the fight is that it feels very choppy, and you just don't know where some characters are, like, in the fight, where they're at, like, in spaces, which doesn't make sense. Like, Yord's one of them, not Yord, I mean Soul. Soul and, what's her name?
Very weird. Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie. It was really weird. I don't know what happened with that, but yeah.
Because, of course, like, there's strategically a lot of reason why you would have something like this set up, okay? But it wasn't addressed to us as an audience, you know? Like, we don't know what Jedi battle strategy is, you know? In the time when Jedi would still have to have battle strategy. You know, like, we know Clone Wars, we know different, like, commands and combos that they do with their clone troopers. You know, like, one of Anakin's signature moves is he uses the Force to pull people out of cover and the clones light them up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what that's like for a group of Jedi. So, you know, I want to take a step back and look at it objectively. You have Soul, who I still feel like he should have been on this guy the whole time. Like, I don't think there should have been any reason for Soul not to be front and center.
Yeah.
You know?
He just disappears.
Yord was in charge of the civilians. Like, he was the shield, essentially. Which, even then, he kind of failed. I like to think that maybe he went to find Basil, because, you know, we lost Basil at the end of the episode, the last episode, you know. So, it's better to secure the civilians for the Jedi's sake. And Jackie, they came here for another objective, not the Sith Lord. They came here for May. So it makes a lot of sense that Jackie is to go investigate, what's his name? The Wookiee.
I don't remember his name. I have to look that up. Give me a second.
Kofar's the name of the planet. I can't think of the name. I can't think of the name of the Wookiee. Dang it.
Let me a second. I need to go to the previous episode. Oh, what's his name?
Anyway, but again, you know, Jackie's carrying on the actual objective. She's monitoring May and trying to check on the Jedi Master. You know, like again, there's a sound battle strategy here. It's just
it's Master Kelnaka.
Kelnaka, yep.
Yeah.
Kelnaka.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, she's checking on him. Yord is protecting civilians, but I still feel like Soul should have been there. It was so weird that all the red shirts are fighting him, and we don't see Soul until he is chasing Osha through the woods, and then Soul saves her. You know.
Yeah.
Like, he should have been there more. But otherwise, I'll give him the strategy. I like the placement. I like the choreography. Dude, the choreography for this episode was so good. Like, lots of props to, God, I want to say Laura Kinney. I don't believe that. Daphne Kinney, I believe is her. The gal, the actress who plays Jackie. I gotta give props to Manny Jacinto. Dude, I'm gonna be watching this dude now. Manny Jacinto is the man who played Kamir.
He did pretty good.
Dude, oh my god. Like, I can't stress it enough, dude, how good of a performance that was from him, if nothing else. Because, like, now I love and I fear him, and he's full of so much mystery. And even though I still don't like where he's been in the last 4 episodes, I love him in this episode. You know what I mean?
Yes. He's definitely, I could say I definitely am growing on him. He's very an interesting character, right? And he's definitely proving himself to be more than just a pushover, like what we said, I think, in the last episode. I said, like, he's really a pushover and stuff. He's been playing it, which it's very like it was. I'm pretty sure we all guessed that it was going to be Quimir. Like, let's be honest here, we all kind of like, yeah, it's probably going to be him. Or
yeah, that's what we were saying last episode, and I myself even said I would be really sad if it's just him in the mask, you know.
But it was.
But
yeah,
he just they handled this episode so well. I don't care. Like, Kamir, like, it scares me, you know? I loved it. I absolutely loved him. His fighting style is so brutal, so unique and clean for Star Wars. Not to mention, like, his mannerisms, too. Like, when he delivers lines, not necessarily while he has a mask, but when you can see him. Like, one of my favorite moments in the episode, I'll have to find the timestamp for it specifically, but it's when he's talking to Soul, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Soul says Jackie was just a child, and he says, "You're the one who brought her here." Okay? Like, you know, insinuating that Soul knew the risk, and he still brought her.
Yes.
And, you know, again, the choreography is great. Jackie really gave it her all, and the whole, like, her whole fighting stuff is so nice. So awesome. With Manny Jacinto Kamir, the line specifically I'm talking about, like, where his character, like, fills me with so much wonder and mystery, is he goes from dark to silly to dark again, when it's like he's in this tense moment with Soul, and then he sees May, hello, and then on a fucking dime just turns, you know, he throws his cloak at Soul, and he's just fighting, you know, like, he just turns on the dime. I loved it. It, like, this is a very high bar to compare it to, but folks, we've talked about The Boys from Amazon here on the channel once, and it was a moment like that compared it to Anthony Starr from The Boys, who plays Homelander. who he can do like the exact same thing, where it's such a tense moment with his dialogue, and you kind of never know where it's gonna go. And that's what I saw in that moment, and it was awesome. It was just really fun. Unfortunately, where a lot of this is a lot of choreography, it's really hard to kind of break it all down. Because, there's a lot to kind of go into here. Like, there's a bunch of different fighting styles used here. We even see Jackie at one point when she's going one-on-one, mind you, against Sith Lord. The first time, when she's handcuffing May, you see her use a bunch of different fighting styles, including the fact when she's using Kelnaka's saber and her own. And she's, like, doing Ahsoka's moves, pretty much. Ahsoka's fighting style, but obviously 100 years early. Which, again, still great. But there's actually something in particular, I want to point out, and I want to give a shout out to Blindwave once again. Because Andre, you play the games, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends on which games.
So, like Jedi Academy.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know there's an Easter egg for that in this episode?
Where was it?
So it's not where, it's what. Eric Whiteley off of Blind Wave, again, love the channel. He actually pointed something out. There is an element from those games that is used in this episode. Kumir's armor, his helmet, and he has a bracer. He has a gauntlet on one of his arms. It is used with a metal called cortosis.
Oh yeah, okay? Cortosis.
So cortosis, apparently in the games, you fight people who are